Hello and welcome, beautiful souls. Thanks for joining me for another pick a card reading. This time we're going to be exploring the Shamanic Wheel of Life again. In this reading, we'll allow you to select from the north, east, south, and west directions. This time I found it might be a little bit easier for me to go ahead and share with you each card as I pull them up, but in just a few moments I will share with you the spread that you can go ahead and select the cards from. So the invitation is for you to take a few deep mindful breaths and then take a look at the cards and figure out which particular area calls to you the most. And you can decide this by taking in a few deep mindful breaths and finding if you connect with the stone more so than the position of the decks of cards. You might use your intuition to select this particular stone for whatever reason, or you might feel that you associate with the particular directions, north, east, south, and west. Now, each direction is associated with an element. Those in the north represent the earth. And so if you are an earth sign astrologically, you may feel a little bit more called to pull from this pile. If you feel called toward the east, if this is a direction associated with air and you're an air sign and you feel like you're called to select the cards that you see there, that may be where you're wanting to draw from. In the south is the direction of fire. And in the west, we have the element of water, which is associated with the water elements astrologically. So if you feel called in any one of those particular areas, for whatever reason calls to you, hopefully you'll find those messages to be meaningful for you. And then at the end, there is an invitation to review the Axis Mundi reading, which is the central stone and cards. This is the intention of this particular deck is to see where we all might be feeling this energy and how we might be able to bring it into reality kind of as a collective. So I hope you enjoy. All right, here we have the Shamanic Wheel of Life. The invitation is to take a look at the wheel in the different directions and see which particular direction calls to you, or if you feel drawn to one of the stones there, or if you feel drawn by the particular element that you're associated with astrologically. So here in the north, you'll notice that we have the mahogany obsidian. The north is associated with the earth. So if you're an earth sign, the invitation is to see if it feels right to you to select the north. Here in the east, you'll see we have the blue lace agate, and this is associated, this position is associated with the element of air. So if you're an air sign astrologically, you may feel called to select this group. Here at the bottom, we have this beautiful red tiger's eye. The element here in the south is associated with fire. So if you are a fire element astrologically, you may feel called to select this group. Here in the west, this direction is associated with the element of water. So if you are astrologically a water sign, you may feel called to this particular group. For those of you who would like to take a few moments to go within, I'll go ahead and guide you through a few deep mindful breaths. So we'll take a nice, long, slow, deep breath in and out. We'll take another deep breath in and out. And finally, a third deep breath in and out. Just take a few moments and allow your intuition to guide you. Select which deck you'd like to choose. Please note the cards at the center are the Axis Mundi, and the invitation is to listen to these messages in addition to the direction that you selected to help to anchor in some of the energies and impressions that you were given in your direction reading. So, right, let's get started. Welcome, beautiful souls who felt connected to the energy of the North, and who also selected this really beautiful mahogany obsidian arrowhead. This was gifted to me in a Shamanic Pathways class, so it's very, very precious to me and has a lot of deep meaning. So thank you for selecting the North. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what the cards have to say. So the first card we have here, this first set of cards I selected past, present, future. So the first one we have here is slow but steady. And to me, this indicates you're going through a period of, you had been going through a period of growth and expansion and experience. And right now, with the energies that we have, that we're going through right now, we have past, present, and future. This card to me indicates that you're experiencing moments of reflection. Is this where you're wanting to go? Is this the path that you intended for yourself? Are you still moving in the direction that you really wanted to go? And I feel that this is leading you to a place where you see the opportunity for the next card, discernment. Okay. So discernment to me speaks of really narrowing down that direction that you're headed, where you're going, who you're connecting with, how you're showing up in the world, how you're giving your best to the work that you're doing. So these three cards together tell the story of growth, reflection, and discernment, all a part of that beautiful growth process. So one more note about discernment. As we're going through the process of reflection, reflecting on the moments in our lives where we're headed, where we're moving forward, making sure that that discernment is in alignment with what it is that you're connecting with within your heart space. So maybe taking some time to do a little bit of reflection, go within, really make sure that this is where you are wanting to be. So the next card that we have the Heart of Sky. Oh, beautiful. This is really beautiful. The Heart of Sky. My first intuitive impressions give me the idea that perhaps you've been connected by, you've received connections from ancestors, loved ones who've gone before, perhaps spirit, angels, ascended masters. Perhaps you've been doing a lot of meditative work in the space of journeying. But perhaps those messages are coming through to you in dreams, or you're actually hearing or experiencing knowledge of or receiving messages in the physical world from those that have passed on to help to keep you on your path. A lot of times our ancestors will do this. They will come into our lives with that invitation, knowing that that they are welcome in our lives to come in and communicate with us as needed. Another item that comes to mind here is the space of creation. Allowing yourself to be open to whatever creative endeavors might be coming in right now. Maybe it's not something you can act on just yet, but I definitely think allowing yourself or preparing yourself for the future act of putting these creative ideas into process, planning and preparing for their coming into fruition. So let's see what the next card has to say. The next card that I see here is the Fox Spirit. Think on your feet. Now, Fox likes to give the impression they know exactly what's going on. They're very clever, and while they may not have all the answers, they do have that ingenuity to really anchor into what the need is. So those of you that practice in a way that that meets the needs of a community as a whole, or you are a practitioner perhaps, and you see people on a regular basis, your skills, your abilities, your your divine connection that you already have with spirit helps you to think on your feet and appear cool and calm and really fluid through any kind of challenging situation. This is a huge benefit to you at this time. So while fox spirit may seem and may get a bad rap because foxes are usually associated with cunning and trickery, I don't feel like that's the case with this particular reading. I think this really has to do with fluidity and the ability to quickly adapt to circumstances, to protect themselves within their environment. So, great messages so far. The next message we have is peacock. So, peacock speaks to me of it's really, I'm getting that image, those impressions of connection with the divine. So those inspired messages are really what's coming through. Being able to put these plans into action. Perhaps you're putting together a business plan to move forward into its next phases. Perhaps you have the idea of collaboration with a group. And you're gathering together the information you need in order to move forward with the right folks to connect with. A lot of really great resources to draw from. Perhaps you're brainstorming right now to put a business plan into action or a teaching program into place. You're taking this time to do your research and get all of your information together. But I do believe that the peacock really does speak to me of divine guidance. Then we have a few more cards. These are kind of what's going on right now, what to expect right now. And we have the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups. This card right now our world is kind of on a voluntary, kind of shutdown. Let's just kind of shut down, go within, This to me speaks of a time of rest and really replenishing yourself. I feel that normally you are someone that gives your all to others and keeps little for yourself. Right now, this speaks to me of rest and reflection so that you can give your best version of yourself to the community. So here, the Ace of Cups further reflects this. It's a time of filling your own cup, being able to nourish and enrich yourself at this time. And then we have the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords here in this position tells me that despite the difficulty, despite adversity, you continue to grow and develop and transform. So this pause is actually a good time and opportunity for you to continue your development as a spiritual being, as an entrepreneur, just readying yourself for the next phase of your life, whatever that looks like for you. And I do have one final card that has a really beautiful message. However, these particular cards are pretty involved, so I'd like to go ahead and read the message from the book so that you can get the full message. And at the very end, there's often a recommendation or meditation at the end, so I'll be sure to include that as well. So here we have Blessing of Kumu, no good thing shall be withheld. It's a gorgeous card. These are usually self-reflection cards, in my opinion, but I really felt called to bring these out for this reading today. I think that at this time in the world, we're all kind of experiencing a deep need for that self-reflection. So this is the invitation to see if this resonates for you, if this is a message that that calls to you, and if it applies. You may find that, strangely enough, it does. So I'll go ahead and begin to read. The universe wants to express its creativity, healing, and brilliance through you. It does not want to be limited to repeating what has already been. Newness needs to burst through you into startling expressions of abundant life. You are guided into unknown territory, guided to go beyond that which you have known yourself and your world to be, so that something original and necessary can be brought to life. The universe knows all that you are in need of, so that you can best attain your destiny. All shall be provided for you. Expand your faith and allow for the greater workings of Great Spirit. So the message from the reading is resources are coming to you now. If you have been in lack, limitation, or anxiety about such things happening, relax and substitute your stress for absolute trust that the universe will provide all good things with generosity and grace. If you find this challenging, take it one step at a time, reprogramming your heart and mind into new habits of peaceful trust. It will feel much better to live like this. It is not foolishness, but wisdom that embraces such unconditional faith. Know that the provision of all resources required is a certainty. The only variables are the details of how the journey unfolds. When you tune into your heart, you'll remember that you are loved, protected, and guided in every moment. Trust the universe. I find this to be really beautiful and reflective of what we just talked about, being able to be in a position of creativity, bringing those inspired ideas down into your body and into life, planning for the future, gathering those resources, getting together everything you need so you can take that next step forward. Also, it's reflected that you're taking these moments for rest and filling your own cup so that you can be better prepared to step out into the world and give it your all, right? So you can go through that final stage of your transformation after having given yourself the rest and recuperation that you need, filling your cup once again. So there's more messages here. The spiritual guidance When you are a dreamer, a visionary, and a seer of the need for transformation in our world, it can be easy to feel intimidated, to dismiss the possibility for radical change as unrealistic, to believe that the greatest of our visions are unattainable in the real world. However, many things that were once considered to be impossible to the human mind are now part of our daily lives. The impossible becomes possible on a regular basis. Kumu is the Hawaiian term for teacher and source of wisdom. The universe is the great Kumu. When we trust the universe, we come to understand certain truths, including the realization that we don't have to be limited to what we logically know. If we're willing to expand our faith, then that which we're capable of experiencing in harmony with the universe will expand also. Your beautiful and perhaps impossible seeming dreams are supported by the unlimited resources of the universe. Even if you don't know what is needed and when in order to create a successful outcome, the universe does. You are being guided to reset your You are being guided to reset your mind and heart to unconditional trust. This can be a challenge for the human part of us that tends to give weight mostly to what can be perceived through the five bodily senses. Yet, for your spirit, this is easy. The spirit within you knows the incredible power of the divine to bring together all aspects of life in the perfect way at the perfect time for astounding success. Your spirit knows that when you take action on your most apparently impossible divine mission from a position of faith rather than a more limited perspective, the universe helps you every step of the way. It is time to adjust your belief systems to encompass this entire universe as your creative partner in life. It provides you with the resources, opportunities, and learning experiences to gain precious information and life skills so that you are singularly and completely equipped to do what you have so that you are singularly and completely equipped to do what you have come to this planet to do. Kumu, the great wisdom teacher, guides you now. Don't allow your mind to create visions of poverty or lack, of failure or absence of support. Focus instead upon the sweet generosity of the universe, lovingly providing for you, often in advance of you consciously realizing what you need, with all that is necessary for your best life and fulfillment of your sacred purpose. All the answers, the connections, the resources, everything that you need is right there for you at the best moment. With a focus on a feeling of excitement about opportunities, inspirational innovation, and the best and brightest of human creative endeavor, surge forward in harmony with each other to establish sustainable new systems. You can lend your energy, your mind, and your body to what you want to have happen in this world. The universe will hear and feel you and provide resources accordingly. So let your thoughts and hopes become your prayers and answers to those prayers. Let your thoughts and hopes become your prayers, and the answers to those prayers will benefit all life on this planet. So ultimately, you have an important mission, and the invitation is to trust the universe and allow it to do its job. It's here to protect you and support you, and look for those opportunities where you're seeing spirit come in and divine where you need to go. Help spirit to do its job by allowing it to just be and stop trying to force it. Just trust it. So the healing process, this is the invitation. Sometimes it's just a visualization or a meditation. So I'll go ahead and read this as well. Say this prayer aloud. I am so grateful for the generosity, abundance, and attentiveness of the universe to my needs. I am provided for with such grace and love. All resources for my life purpose to be successfully and joyfully expressed are freely given to me. May all beings consciously know the loving embrace of the universe and fulfill their sacred purpose. So be it. Write or consider a list of 5 things that you're grateful for. They might be simple things that have happened today or experiences from your past. If you can recall a time where you felt the universe stepped up to help you out and it was an unexpected and very welcome blessing, list that too. Read your list aloud. Allow this time to reinforce your sense of trust and wonder in the kindness and protection of the universe towards you. Relax for a moment with your hands in prayer at your heart. Imagine that the generous, wise, loving, and joyful universal energy is overflowing within your heart. You've completed your healing process. So again, this last card, normally I read intuitively, but these last few cards, I wanted to offer this invitation for us to do a little bit of work together. Now, if you don't feel called to participate in that, that's totally okay too. Hopefully there's some value in the messages that you received today. I look forward to your feedback. Please feel free to leave a comment or a like or a message, whatever you prefer. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching. Welcome, beautiful souls who selected the cards in the East in these beautiful blue lace agate stones. So the message we received from Spirit today, there's actually 4 cards from this group of messages for you. One of them I feel is reflected with the overall energies of the other cards. So, or the underlying influences you may not already be aware of. So we have movement into balance. It's all good. And beautiful. Unlimited possibilities. So these messages together typically speak of past, present, and future. So movement into balance. So you may have recently been working to bring things into balance in particular areas of your life. So this could be developing a practice, learning how to adjust to a new schedule for a new job, or learning something new, and perhaps even starting up sessions with a life coach or with a counselor, learning how to balance out the different things in your lives. So lots and lots of energies moving around, but really trying to anchor in and get connected to the balance. Now for the present, it's all good. So in terms of emotional wellness, this does speak to me of having achieved that balance. I do think that I wouldn't say mastery necessarily, but I do think being in a better space of being in alignment with what serves you and what does not. And then finally, unlimited possibilities. So really trying to look at this time as an opportunity to view the limitless possibilities of the possible future, of how we're moving into this space of being in a new way. We're all kind of adjusting to the unexpected, and I believe that all of you have potentially already gotten to a space of being able to flow and see the opportunities and possibilities. You may have already started lists of how you're going to move into this. And the back of the deck energy in most cases, or the energy of these cards, is death. So death is not just about dying. It is the ending of an old way. So this is really what led me to feel that this is directly related to what we're all experiencing at this time of the reading, the the self-isolation at this time, just in terms of trying to protect one another. This also does speak to me of, it's the death of the old way, the death of the old way of finding certain things that were important in connection, in the ways that we were previously connecting, maybe were not serving us. So letting go of all the things that that don't serve us at this time. And I feel like those of you in the space of air, you may find it a lot easier to let go of those energies, those feelings, and those experiences. So we also have, interesting. We have water, really beautiful. Water speaks to me of flow and emotion and kind of allowing yourself to go with it. Finding ways to, are already trying to be innovative and find ways to connect with your loved ones, and finding ways to feel connected for yourself. So overall, I feel like time right now for us is to allow the space for flow. So if you start to feel emotional and the dense energy of fear, sadness, let the feelings come, let them be what they are. Just be aware of the feelings, and experience them fully. Don't try to repress them or hold them back. Just allow them to be expressed. At this time too, it is a bit of a time for cleansing. So perhaps you're going through and purging of things that no longer serve you. A really, really beautiful reminder, that you are going with the flow. You are allowing this process to be what it is, and you're adjusting and adapting in a way that seems to be very healthy. Beautiful. So the next card is a little bit of animal medicine, and we have horse spirit. Freedom is yours. So clearing out the old way, clearing out the space that was previously filled with things that don't serve us, this opens up the opportunity to be free, to fill it with something or leave it be open and allow spirit to fill it with something new. I really feel like this message speaks to some of us who may not necessarily want to always connect and be that connection, that link between folks. Perhaps people call to you or look to you when they're looking to connect or meet with friends. Hey, let's do this. Can you organize something? That sort of thing. So this is really an opportunity to be free of that and be in your own space. Another beautiful animal message that we have is cheetah. Cheetah speaks to me of speed and movement. So I feel like for you, there may be ideas and thoughts and plans coming in super fast. And I feel like you're trying to catch these as they come in so that you can try to apply them in your life or in your practice. You're really trying to gather as much information as you can before you take those next steps forward into the next portion of your reality. And then we do have a few other messages here as well. So these cards are, to me, they're kind of speaking of these general overall energies that we're experiencing right now. So right now, you are in a position of strength. You do have a wide, broad range of resiliency tools to help to maintain your inner inner capacity to withstand difficulty. You've been through quite a lot, so you've already kind of built yourself up there. So one thing that might be holding you back or causing some grief or difficulty are some of the commitments that you've made previously. So if you're feeling like these commitments are no longer serving you, instead of going within and kind of just ruminating over them, I recommend going within and seeking answers. So instead of looking for ways to continue to avoid facing whatever this is here. Looking at your existing resiliency tools and how you might be able to better support yourself if you do have to make some difficult decisions about making changes to responsibilities and commitments that you no longer feel serve you. So those are the overall messages for this group. There is another message that we received today, and this is for typically these cards I use for my own personal reflection, but they're so beautiful and they have such deep meaning. I decided I would go ahead and pull a card for our group and allow for the information to just be read and be okay with that. At the very end, there's an invitation to receive like a meditation or a healing process that may require just a little bit of work. So there's a little bit of homework at the end here. But the beautiful message we have here, I want to say Dadiri, and this is hearing truth. Really beautiful card. Dadiri. So normally I do read the cards intuitively, but in this case I feel these messages are really powerful and we could use this time for a little bit more self-reflection. So I will go ahead and move forward with reading the message from the original book, so I'll share that with you. Dadiri. There is a deeper truth that shall bring peace to your heart, offering you guidance, comfort, and renewal. You are guided to turn within for your answers. Do not allow another to interrupt, influence, or distort your personal trusting relationship with the divine. Allow Great Spirit to be your highest counsel always, and you shall never be led astray. You shall know the words to speak and the consciousness to hold, to evoke healing and set things right. Listen, for deep within, truth is known. So in terms of a reading and just the message to receive for the reading, focus on what you know to be true by tuning into what you feel and not focusing on the appearances or the opinions of others. I think this may be one of your awesome resiliency tools just off the bat. I'm just saying. There is a voice of spirit deep within you. Anytime you want or need guidance, you have the ability to tune into that inner voice, bringing peace, comfort, and clarity. It takes courage to turn within rather than putting your faith in the people and things of this world, but you have enough inner strength and wisdom to do this. The truth within has been spoken. Trust and you can hear it. Now, there is a set of spiritual guidance that's offered here as well before the healing process. It is a bit lengthy, but I'll go ahead and read it as well. You have an intuitive ability to recognize truths of the spirit. Dadiri is an Australian Aboriginal term for the deep spiritual practice of reflective and respectful listening. It is a deep listening for truth beyond physical words and their logical meaning. It is the way the shaman hears with the soul. Through the power of his or her own inner experiences, the shaman is able to create spiritual wisdom for the community, bringing balance and unity between the realm of Great Spirit and our earth. As one who holds the potential power of the shaman, it is part of your soul journey to seek out deeper meaning, to never assume that the whole truth is revealed in what another says, and instead to listen carefully, sometimes even for the truth, evidenced in what is not being said, but being communicated in other ways. Others will naturally be drawn to you for counsel, but you must be sure that loving wisdom is the source through which your counsel is gleaned. So making sure you're tuning into that divine inner advisor that you know you can draw from whenever you need it. Part of the shamanic life path involves mastery over extremes of existence, energetic highs followed by crushing fatigue, feeling taxed beyond your limits of body and mind, perhaps even an experience of near death or symbolic death of the personality, a profoundly challenging illness in the body or mind, or a period of spiritual darkness which eventually leads you to a healing rebirth. These are all possible ways that the shamanic soul can progress through its training. Such challenges are a form of initiation, teaching the soul to become able to consciously contain and channel energy according to its will, rather than being tossed about by the forces of the world. It takes time, but eventually the soul learns to live from a place of inner balance and spiritual grounding. The shaman is empowered to guide others through what has been mastered, moderating and containing what is required for healing. This evokes balance in the lives of those they touch. Soul training in the shamanic way happens through your life experiences. It may or may not involve official training as a shaman, but in some way you will be taught and guided by an initiated teacher. Training includes the experience of altered states of consciousness to feed the need of your soul to expand beyond the restrictions of everyday reality and feel genuinely connected and supported by a vaster spiritual reality. Altered states can include intuition, visions, hearing messages from Great Spirit, and an ability to recognize and interpret signs of higher guidance. This is preparation for dealing with forces that are not visible to most, and yet have a palpable effect in the minds and hearts of many souls disconnected from their divine support system. Your altered states are fulfilling their intended purpose when they bring healing. When it is the right time for you, Great Spirit will bring you the necessary guides and teachers in the spiritual and physical worlds so that you can learn how to safely enter into and ground out of expanded states of awareness. This will increase your ability to hear and channel the messages of Great Spirit. Trust that your heart will recognize your true teachers, which will not always be those that claim to be your true teachers, as you participate fully in your unfolding journey with trust. So, beautiful messages. I feel that from what it's sharing that a lot of you probably already experienced these moments where you feel that divine connection and you recognize when you can bring about this information and share it with others for their benefit. So that's a great way to have already begun. I feel like a lot of times when I read these, it's what I am already experiencing. So my hope is that these messages are that for you. Here we have the healing process at the very end. So I'll go ahead and guide through this. Find a place to sit where you can rest in silence or in the healing sounds of nature. If you prefer, rest with beautiful music, perhaps creating your own with singing bowls or your voice. Allow the sounds that fill your ears, even if those sounds are silence, to be recognized as sacred. Gently rub your ears, massaging lightly around the base of your ears where they connect with your head. Then visualize, feel, or pretend that your ears can relax, the inside of the ears becoming relaxed, the outside of your ears becoming relaxed. Say aloud, I release from my ears on all levels, physical, electrical, and spiritual, anything that is not of the divine. I release all lies and criticisms. I release all pain. I soften and let go so that my ears can become empty and ready to receive the healing comfort of great beloved Spirit. I invite in the truth of unconditional love, divine guidance, and sacred silence now. Then rest. Imagine, feel, or pretend that your ears can become so relaxed that they become completely, pleasantly empty, empty of pressure, heat, and tension. You may like to move your jaw around and open your mouth to help relax the ears. Then soften your face, and when you feel suitably relaxed, imagine, feel, or pretend that a soft silence, which is the loving presence of Great Spirit, is with you completely now. Stay here for as long as you wish. You have completed your healing process. Hopefully this information has been valuable for you today. Thank you so much for selecting the East direction, and I look forward to hearing your comments. Take care. Welcome, beautiful souls that selected the red tiger's eye, or the south in this case. So we have these lovely polished red tiger's eyes. For the south, we received three cards. We have New Day, Burden, and Perception. And while normally I would be looking at this in a past, present, future kind of a situation, I kind of am seeing this as part of a story. In this case, I'm seeing New Day and Burden. A new day represents how one day we just woke up and our world had changed overnight, and suddenly we're forced to accept this new way of being, a new temporary way of being, but still a new way of being. And I think it caused us all to kind of become aware of where we were being burdened and where our blessings are. The things that we do, the responsibilities that we have, our busy lives, we're all so full of information, kind of go, 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 and that it's really giving us an opportunity to look at what's a burden and what's truly a blessing for us. And I think perception really speaks to that. Like, where in my life am I just filling in those empty spaces with stuff and time, and how can I best show up for myself, for my family, for my loved ones. It's also giving us a new idea of, what's going to be important to us to help carry us through, to support us and carry us through into the next phase. So hopefully a lot of information is coming through for you guys at this time. Oh, we have Medicine Wheel. So this next message, Medicine Wheel, there's a lot of depth here. So the first thing that's standing out to me is that this is a reminder, right? We are all a part of that wheel of life, that experience of moving from one cycle and stage into the next. Right now, this is just one season of many. Each season represents something new. So right now we're moving into spring, and that newness, that freshness, that youth, that vulnerability, but at the same time, there's a lot that's happening right now. The wheel is turning, it's spinning, but at the same time, we're all kind of going within and trying to evaluate, what are we keeping? What are we taking with us into the next phase? What tools do I have right now that I can carry with me, that I can use to support me and carry with me into the next space of wellness, of being, of support? So Something important to recognize about the medicine wheel is the different directions. Like as we go into each phase, like what are we leaving behind? What are we taking with us? What are we ridding ourselves of or expressing or sharing with the world? How are we taking these tools and moving into the next phase? So those are important questions that the medicine wheel poses, because as we, go through these different moments in our lives, these different seasons, whether it's literally, figuratively, or if you go through the cycle of the wheel in a full day, from birth to death to rebirth, we're experiencing this on a regular basis. So no matter what stage you're at in the wheel, there's a message for you, and it's just taking a few moments to kind of ground in and figure out what the wheel is telling you, where you're at, where you're moving um, into the space for the next piece, the next change, and how you're going to show up there. So then we have the next card we have is Bat. And in this particular space, Bat speaks to me of learning to use different faculties, right? So maybe we were used to waking up at 6 a.m., going through about our day, doing all our grocery shopping, stopping to, I don't know, pick up dinner on the way home, whatever our busy, crazy lives look like. Suddenly we're in a space where we have to reevaluate. And that speaks to me of using what faculties we have at our disposal. So maybe you're a really great cook and you haven't spent the time to sit down and cook a meal for your family because you're all terribly busy. So using those faculties to help to support and nourish the people in your environment as well as yourself. Perhaps these are unused skills that you haven't been tapping into. Perhaps you are receiving more intuitive information from lost loved ones or from just your intuitive guides, your angels, your spirit animals, however that's showing up for you. That is giving me the message that we need to use our other senses, our other gifts, our other faculties, and bring them into light to give them good use. So then we have Rabbit Spirit. It does say now is a lucky time. And I do feel that for a lot of us. Perhaps in the process of getting into a space of being aware of what skills and gifts that you have that you can use right now, maybe you were one of the folks that unfortunately didn't get to keep their job. So maybe you have those incredible resources to start that business you always dreamed of. And here you have time to create that, to build that, to structure that. Now is a lucky time. It's a time of fertility. It's a time of growth, creativity, expansion. It's also a time of going within and self-exploration, trying to decide what messages spirit has for you, and what messages you're ready to receive. So going within can be many different things for many different people. You can certainly take some time and do just like a quick meditation or reconnect with your breath. Perhaps even you practice yoga. Maybe you just want to go for a walk. These times of self-reflection, doing activities that kind of take us out of the space of our own mind, allow us to open up to what those messages are that are coming in from spirit, from ourselves, from God, from whomever your divine highest power is. So right now I do believe is a lucky time. Here we have the opportunity to tend to the skills that we have, plant the seeds of things that we want to bring into our present and future, and tend to them as well, just with love and care and genuine reflection. Just trying to see those blessings in this time of difficulty, trying to be grateful and show like a deep gratitude for what we do have right now. So this group actually had several different cards that came up, and I feel like it's reiterated here. I do feel like there was a loss of some kind, whether that was by standing your ground, showing up and doing what you've been asked to do, or if it was, setting your boundaries and letting folks know this is not okay with me, and then suffering as a consequence of a severance of a kind. So typically that can mean like the loss of a job or a relationship. But sometimes that's really for a good reason. And I say that it may have even been a relationship and really feel like it may be standing your ground because of the Mother of Swords here. That mothering energy, that's a strong woman. That's a strong, strong personality that's not going to settle for less than what's deserved. So those of you that may have suffered a loss, you're not, I don't really believe that it's suffering that you're experiencing right now. I do believe that excuse me, that it's an opportunity for you to tap into those skills and resources that you already have at your disposal. So then we have the world. To me, this is a seed. To me, this is a seed of opportunity, of growth. So this is a time of really diving in and planting that into the earth so that you can experience those new buds of growth. I do really believe that for the folks that are in the South right now, while there may be some struggles, there are far more blessings and far more rewards headed your way, especially with the Ace of Wands. Not only does this represent growth to me, this also represents passion, creativity, and inspiration. So if you have something started that you really like to encourage within your community, perhaps you start up a group, perhaps you help to cultivate community within these difficult times where we can still connect with one another. I honestly believe there's some really strong spark of fire and inspiration that our folks in the South are going to be able to bring about into the world. So the last card that I have for you today is actually from a really beautiful deck called Earth Warriors Oracle. And while I usually use these for my own personal exploration, there's a lot of deep messages and meaning here. And I'd like to share the messages that come through from the card that you received, along with the meditation or action item. So this is an invitation, if you feel called, to listen to the meditation and to offer whatever experience, or whether it's to journal, or I mean, it could really be anything. Say aloud, say a prayer, something to help anchor into a space of calm or whatever that message is for you. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you the card you received. Oh, Abuela Medicine, Remedy of the Grandmothers. Now you may not be able to read that at the bottom, but look at this gorgeous card. I'm really feeling the depth of connection to our ancestors with this card, our loved ones, those that have come before, their mothers' mothers, and all the love and care that they gave to us through wet medicine and in ways that they treated us through their healing hands. So, just gorgeous. So I will go ahead and read the full description, followed by the message at the end. So now normally I do like to read these cards intuitively, but I thought it was important to share these messages with you, and hopefully you find comfort in it. So, Remedy of the Grandmothers, Abuela Medicine. Believe in the formidable power of healing, of the transformation that it can provide for all aspects of your being and your life. Medicine comes in many forms from Great Spirit to facilitate the healing of body, of mind, and of soul. Whether it is the correction of unhelpful habits of thought, guidance for the practical steps to resolve a physical imbalance, or deep soul healing that frees you into fulfillment of your divine potential, there is no limit to what can be healed through grace. A current of divine healing is flowing to you and through you now. Open yourself up to participate in a beautiful healing transformation. And that's really interesting. That's a lot of what did come through, that own self-healing, self-reflection, releasing what doesn't serve, and stepping into the creativity and accepting our own gifts with grace. So, but absolutely, this is an opportunity for you to heal and just to see the supportive medicine from our ancestors, from those that have come before, with that just had love and good intentions for their future generations. I really feel that from this card. So in a reading, here's the message. You're on a healing journey. Put your trust in the divine genius of Great Spirit and the medicine of the earth through which divine healing can express itself. As you allow your spiritual connection to guide your earthly steps with synchronicity and divine intervention, you will be supported for a healing journey that will be profound for you. This oracle indicates a healing outcome that will enhance your soul journey. Your soul has healing gifts, and you are meant to participate fully in an exploration of healing that is of interest to you. You are meant to understand how it is that you are a healer in your own unique way, whether that be professionally or in how you are as a person in the world more generally, as a part of your life journey. Now, the spiritual guidance that comes with this card is the spiritual message. Have you been the warrior carrying on regardless of a deep wound that makes your life and work in the world more difficult? Whether the wound is of mind or body, there is guidance that is time to allow for healing. Through a healing journey, you can become free to proceed more easily, effectively, and joyfully in your life's work. Grandmother medicine typically relates to the use of plants through various disciplines to promote healing of the mind and body. However, the oracle speaks of a broader interpretation. It indicates a time when earthly steps on your healing journey will be supported and guided by spirit for truly inspiring results. Heaven and earth are intersecting, and when that happens, the presence of various types of physical world medicine can become a channel for divine blessing. This divine integration of heaven and earth will transform the way you see and experience the physical world. It will provide you with a feeling of harmony between the celestial and the earthly, a sense of masculine and feminine energies working together for the same purpose. You will no longer feel divided within yourself, pulled in competing directions, or conflicted about key aspects of your life and belief systems. This is healing. All things coming together in the right order, working with rather than against each other for loving higher purpose. The commencement of the healing journey, whether you are a healer or a patient or both, demands a period of purification, a cleansing that will support the release of toxins of body, mind, and soul, so that true vitality, well-being, and divine beauty can manifest unimpeded. The basis of all true healing is a shift in consciousness so powerful that it alters not only mind, but eventually soul and physiology as well. If one attempts to shift consciousness without adequate preparation, the process can be destabilizing, generating unnecessary disorder and confusion. Even if there's a temporary sense of heightened awareness at first, without adequate preparation, the experience will not be able to be integrated and may result in feeling worse rather than better without any real long-term change. Yet you are called at a soul level to enter a healing journey. So how can you avoid the pitfalls and be open to the blessings? So this message right here, I'm getting chills all over my body. So it sounds like that's where a lot of you may be in this space of not being adequately prepared for this healing journey. Yet here you are. So how can you avoid the pitfalls and be open to what blessings you're finding? What blessings are present, are here and ready for you? Sorry, I'll keep going. Becoming ready for the medicine means preparing for the cure also. This is based on approaching the power of earth with due respect. It is not about trying to force an outcome that you wish. It is about cleansing and opening the self to the gift of what is given from Mother Earth and Great Spirit. It is not about controlling the healing flow, but of readying oneself for it to be received. That means surrendering attachment and resting and cleansing the body and mind through practices that work for you so that you're open to the certain change that healing will bring. It means practicing unconditional trust because divine timing may sometimes express kindness through delays. It means gently but surely dislodging your belief in the fixed reality of your own experience, even if an issue has been present for decades, so that you are loose and limber, ready to be reformed, recreated through the healing genius of heaven and earth in intelligent, creative relationship, expressing their unconditional love for you. So those are the messages. And here's the healing process, which is the invitation. Here's the invitation to do some work. Who wants to do some work today? Okay. Connect with nature in person if possible, or by looking at images such as the oracle card image and listening to nature sounds if appropriate. Imagine, feel, or intend that you are relaxing not only your body and mind, but your soul too. Relaxing and opening to the presence of the natural world. Allow yourself to be held by this loving, sacred energy. This is the soul of the Earth Mother. When you are ready, say the following invocation aloud if possible. The divine healing presence is now created through the loving union of Earth Mother and Great Spirit. I surrender into the medicinal alchemy of divine love at work within all facets of my being now, so that any and all issues of my body, mind, and soul that can benefit from divine healing are now blessed for recovery. Through grace of divine timing and compassion of Grandmother Healer, I ask to be shown clear steps for my healing benefit, that I may experience true healing and become a channel for such true healing in the world. So be it. Relax. You have completed your healing process. So with that being said, you're welcome to go ahead and pause on this beautiful card. Maybe meditate on that image. Just bring it to the center of your mind as you go over those comments, those suggestions in the medicine. So thank you all, those that selected the South. I hope these messages have deep value for you, deep meaning. Thank you for showing up today, and may you all be well and blessed. Take care. Welcome, beautiful souls who selected the cards in the West. I noticed you selected the really beautiful turquoise chips. I wish I could hold them all in my hands for you to see. They're really pretty. There's some more. The West is, of course, water signs, if you follow astrology, but it's also my dog barking his head off. And we're going to wait for him to be done. So the West is actually, while if you follow astrology, it's related to the water signs, but it's also a place of like recovery. It's also a place of deep emotion, transformation. It's like that soothing, healing space before we step into our acceptance of our greatness and be able to move back into the space of the North and the wisdom that we're gifted through our journey. So we'll go ahead and get to the messages here. Okay. Yes. Oh, beautiful. Okay. So while these cards for some of the directions have represented kind of a past, present, future, I do believe that it's just a part of the story. And what I'm seeing here is new beginnings. Right? New beginnings. And we have ascension. So I have some information coming in already. And then we have healing energy. Okay. Not sure if you can see the further detail in that card. So, new beginnings, ascension, and healing energy. I feel that if you selected the West and you associate with this direction or the symbol, the element of water, This has been a time of new beginnings for you, new awarenesses, deeper understandings. And I do believe that along with that comes ascension, a deepening of your existing knowledge, experiences, or perhaps even your natural intuitive gifts. That's the strong message that I'm getting, is that your intuitive gifts are trying very hard to grow. You're receiving enough information for your intuitive gifts to actually expand at this time. Perhaps you're being given information such as, ways that you can meditate or ways that you can connect with yourself so that you can kind of fine tune your daily practice to maximize the benefits of what you're receiving. So if you go into a meditation, immediately coming out and journaling, if that's the message you're getting, or when you're in a meditation, kind of guiding yourself through that process and visualizing very specific details to kind of help you direct you through that. Or you may be called to explore something new that you had an interest, or maybe you never had an interest in it before, to continue to explore. So personally, I've read tarot cards my whole life, well, almost my whole life, for 30 years. And it started when I was very young. And over time, you continue to go back to that as kind of a support for yourself. However, I've always had a love and a deep interest for divination, all different kinds of divination. So oracle cards like these, I mean, of course, I'm going to have a love and an interest for these, and all different types. So, like bibliomancy, where you open up, you ask a question of your divine self, highest self, and you open up a book and you search for a passage, and wherever your finger stops, that's the message. Or runic reading, so touching, getting in touch with and learning about the Elder Futhark rune translations and symbolism. Pendulums, other forms of cartomancy. So, like reading from regular playing cards, or the flight patterns of birds, or just different forms of divination have always held an interest for me. And while that is true, I also connect with spirits. So recently, I've started exploring, learning about the Akashic records, which is basically the library of the soul. I mean, if you want to get really just baseline, it's basically like the library of the soul and all the soul's memories, past, present, and what's yet to come, supported by our ascended masters, our loved ones that have passed on, and I do believe our highest self has access as well. So that's another story for another day, but it's very fitting for me to be someone who happens to be a water sign to be experiencing this right now, because this healing energy, I've been sensing personally that there's quite a lot of healing energy that's coming to the surface for me. So the more I explore these new ways of being, these new ways of trying to heal and get more knowledge and information and practice and experience, the more I feel that my ability and capacity to offer an opportunity for healing for myself, or open the door for healing, allowing that person, whomever is receiving it, to really be in a space of receiving, or learn how to access it for themselves. So right now, while I believe this information, this healing energy is for us, it is so then we can teach others how to access their own healing energy, which really, this ascension card here, I mean, it's almost like divine information coming down, if you can see that, and also kind of holding it in this beautiful little cocoon. So those are the first messages that have come up. So let's see what else we have in store. Wow, this is beautiful. The next card that we have here is the owl. So this particular owl, it's so funny. I was just talking about the Akashic records, but the owl to me speaks of the wisdom of lifetimes. So while the owl may be associated in some cases with the north, with the level of wisdom and depth of knowledge and experience, there's something much deeper here with the owl. And I do think it's appropriate for the owl to be present here in the West. People in the West tend to be very intuitive, just naturally. And the owl, And let me go back to that statement about how people in the West tend to be very intuitive, just naturally, and something to be aware of with your experiences in the West. And maybe it doesn't resonate for you, but your perception of folks may or circumstances may be more enlightening than others might realize. So I think that people who are very intuitive or empathic are very sensitive to their surroundings, and able to sometimes even predict with accurate and eerily accurate detail what to expect or what things might benefit. So the owl, if you think about it, the owl sees at night. He uses both his auditory skills and his vision to be able to see at night with clarity and accuracy where others might not even be able to see in front of their own faces. So people in the West have the ability at this time to offer clarity and information to folks who might be in need of that kind of clarity right now. So if you feel called to do so, um, do just, do go ahead and follow the call of your heart. Share that information for the benefit of others. That's the invitation. It's to really accept and dive into to your own innate skills of knowing your perception. And as I mentioned earlier, I think these may be heightened at this time. So if you think it's a benefit to others, absolutely dive in, use that. We also have White Raven Spirit. How beautiful is that? Trust in the magic. So I think that there is something magical in having skills and abilities that are difficult to explain. The level of accuracy, right? As someone who is intuitive, I've had experiences where I've read for other people in a one-on-one circumstance where I provided that eerily accurate information. How could you know that? I can't answer that question. I just do. I see it, I hear it, I'm experiencing it sometimes at that time. And maybe if you're not used to having, these intuitive gifts, if they're new for you, there's an invitation to trust in the magic of what it is. We all are born with innate, beautiful gifts that we're intended to use to help ourselves and one another, to heal our planet. And the invitation, more so than trust in the magic of your skills, trust in the magic of who you are. Learning to trust that intuition is some of the greatest self-care that I think we can provide for ourselves, especially when we start to get into feelings of doubt and distrust. If we can't trust ourselves, if we can't trust those bits of information, whom can we trust? So it's an invitation to trust in the magic. We do have a couple animal spirit cards that came up here for you in the West, and there are deep messages for both of these. So one of the cards is the earthworm. And the earthworm, I mean, it's not the most glamorous job to be an earthworm, but he has a very important job. So what he does is he burrows through the earth. He fertilizes that soil by allowing it to go through him, but just in his day to day. And when something should happen, if he loses his talent, he'll grow that back. He'll regenerate. And I think that speaks to the resiliency of people who just do what they do because it's a part of who they are. So if you already naturally have intuitive gifts and skills, just do what you do. Just be who you are. What you do and how you show up in the world in this way is a way to kind of aerate the soil and create opportunity for others to accept with a greater ability and awareness that this is somebody else's reality, and it is what it is. Like, it doesn't have to be my reality, but it's theirs. I think it also speaks to being grounded, like taking that extra time right now to make sure that you're meeting your own needs and staying grounded, staying in your space, and releasing what doesn't serve, and then just bringing in more of that light to try to re-energize and revitalize. And then we have butterfly. So for a while, I was getting messages because again, I associate a lot with the West, being a water sign. I associate a lot with some of the other signs, directions as well, but more so with the water signs. The butterfly message that I was receiving was in this kind of a cocoon state, in the stasis state. So this speaks to me of it's time. It is time for you to get out there and use your gifts. And if you're not really entirely sure, trust yourself, trust that magic, trust your already existing abilities, trust what you're comfortable and confident with. The truth is, we're never really going to be ready to get out there and do what we need to do. But if somebody needs you, if somebody needs that love and support and guidance, it's your call. If you ever needed a sign, this is it. If someone needs you, it's your opportunity to help. It's not ever about what we get out of it. It's about how can we benefit those who need us. And so that's the messages that the animals have for you right now. Now, there's more that I see that's coming up here. I think for a lot of us in the West, we've been in a space of reflection, trying to get, focused and really refine what it is that we want. We want to see that clear picture before we take that step forward. We have the hardest time seeing ourselves for who we are. But in truth, the way that people respond to you is a more accurate reflection than what you see in the mirror, than the story you tell yourself. So maybe putting a little bit of trust in that as well. Maybe your picture of yourself isn't very clear, but maybe the way that you show up in the world and trusting that the message that you're sharing has value for others, maybe that's where the value is intended to be. Maybe that's what would be the thing to take you to take that step forward. And then we have 9 of Cups. This to me talks about connection. When you can share with another, when you can open up in a place of safety and comfort, when you can create a space of security for another person, you're creating that connection, you're creating that unity, that thing that you crave so much. Not only are you experiencing it, they're experiencing it too. Right now, we need nothing more than we need connection. Being asked to socially distance ourselves from another is really inaccurate verbiage. I mean, we're doing so out of a sense of love and compassion for someone else. And at least that's my motivation behind it, is to do so with love and compassion for others. But that connection piece, there are ways to connect with others. And I see with this card comes up, I see that you're creating those connections. You're reaching out to the people that maybe somebody else didn't reach out to, letting them know that you're there, providing opportunities for connection in other ways, perhaps starting a group chat, or maybe a mass email, or maybe you're doing a video live, so people don't feel so alone right now in these difficult times. So that's just at the core, I feel like that's who you are, because you know what it feels like to be alone. So while I've said that, I also feel that maybe you're not exactly sure what it is that you should do. But this tells me that there is a spark of inspiration coming in. You have a lot of tools at your disposal, and perhaps you haven't really figured out how to refine them and get them to work together yet. I feel like this is that spark of inspiration that's coming in to light your way. You already do have the answers and the tools at your disposal. You have the answers within. However, it's just that final piece. We have to have that sense of like assurance, like we know who we are and where we're heading. I need to see the clear picture in order to be able to move forward and step into whatever great moment I need to step into. But the truth is you don't. You just need to see yourself. Allow yourself to be seen as others see you. Perhaps that's a better way to phrase it. Allow yourself to be seen as others see you, and trust that that is what they see, regardless of whether or not you see it. Then we have, finally, for these cards, the Star. We all have beautiful gifts that we can share right now with the world. And just to be that comfort, that guidance, that support, that bright, shining star of hope that we all need. Even those of us that try to light the way for others still experience moments of darkness. So if you know someone who's also a bright light and you feel like reaching out to them, do it. They need you too. We need each other right now. We need each other to maintain that hope and that sense of connection and security that it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. It's okay to have dark moments. But your perception as someone who is in this space of knowing, right? You're in a way of knowing. You know things, see and experience things on a different level. You have the ability to share this information and these experiences with others to help them feel comforted and help to give them hope that they need right now. So that's it for these messages. Sorry, I get a little emotional. Sometimes we feel our feelings in this house. So, and lastly, now these sets of messages are, these are actually cards that I've used personally for my own personal reflection, meditation, and growth. But these are more so for work, right? So the message that you received, it's going to make me cry again. Pono, immeasurable power of the heart way. And I think this is, for me, one of the things that motivates me more than anything is the deep amount of love that I have for people. And as I said, these are more designed for me personally as, guidance cards for myself, work that I'm doing for myself. But I felt that the messages were so important that I wanted to share them on a larger scale. So while I won't be reading these intuitively, if information comes in that's like of an intuitive nature, I'll share that with you. But ultimately, I'll go ahead and just read directly from the book. They are still very powerful messages, and there may be an invitation at the end. Whether it's a meditation or, intention to say aloud, or, kind of instructions about what to write about or journal about. And I do find that it's really profound and helpful. So I'll go ahead and read that for you. Pono, immeasurable power of the heart way. The heart has the power to heal in a way that the mind cannot understand. Do not allow your mind to distract or frighten you. You are a beautiful child of the universe, and divine love lives within your heart. A willing heart is all that you need to transform any situation that's troubling you. Recognizing this power does not evoke feelings of pressure or anxiety, but rather of peace and joy. Lightness of heart and relief of mind are here for you now. For the reading, the divine within your heart has the power to transform a situation that is troubling you. Do not be intimidated or think that it is too much for you or the divine to handle. Do not allow yourself to intellectualize or analyze a situation to the point of feeling confused or paralyzed. Healing through the heart on any and all issues that have plagued you or a loved one can and will happen. Let your heart feel the faith it needs to feel so that it can rest in joy. Divine healing wants to flow abundantly for you. Open up to receive it without hesitation or condition. And how beautiful that was reflected in the first set of messages that we received. Spiritual guidance, Pono, in the Hawaiian tradition, has deep and multiple meanings, one expression of which is the return to order. There is a perfection of peace, beauty, and fulfillment that the divine has planned for the lives of all beings. Through the use of the human free will, we have at times moved away from what is in the divine plan, stumbled on the path, and became ensnared in terrible suffering and frightening delusion. This can become contagious, infecting other souls with the poison of hate, anger, and fear, and further separating our human collective from the beautiful grace that the divine has intended for us. It then becomes difficult to use our free will with wisdom. In our spiritual disconnection, it can then become difficult to use our free will with wisdom, and our spiritual disconnection can create far-reaching negative impact for others and the planet. One only needs to see the pain in the world to understand this. Yet there is a simple spiritual discipline that we can practice to restore the world and all hearts within it to rights again. The divine dwells in your heart as a healing power and wisdom which tenderly alleviates suffering, liberating the body, mind, and soul. This is the immeasurable power of the heart way. In the Hawaiian tradition from which it emerges, it's known as ho'oponopono, or to set things right. The heart power thrives through this simple 4-step practice that can be done by anyone, anywhere, for any person or any situation that they would wish to transform. This may seem unexpectedly easy, and it is. So why isn't everyone just doing this and healing the world right now? This is because only those who have come far enough on their spiritual path to have placed the heart wisdom above the dictates of the mind will be able to accept the practice. The practice itself is not something you can approach through the mind. The mind will resist it because it asks for us to take unconditional responsibility for everything that we encounter, whether it be in our own lives or out in the world, even if those situations seem to have nothing whatsoever to do with us. The moment something comes into our awareness, we are responsible for it. The mind can rebel at this and say that it is unfair or unduly burdensome or shaming to think in that way. That is because the mind confuses responsibility with guilt and giving with deficit. The heart, though, is joyful at the prospect of spiritual responsibility because it understands that it offers the empowerment to make a difference and that healing one helps to heal all. This oracle foretells of great healing for you as you open up your heart to Pono. This is the healing process. Choose a person or situation to which you can offer healing. Gaze at the image of the card. Recognize the heart power depicted. Place your hand on your heart as you tap into the beauty of your heart, including the feelings of compassion, goodwill, and wanting all beings to know that they are loved and do not deserve to suffer. When you feel that heart connection, you are ready to complete the 4 simple steps without them having to make sense to your mind. Feel the truth of what is happening in your heart as you complete the process. Step 1, I'm sorry. Say aloud, I am responsible for this situation. I feel so sorry for this. Let your heart be in compassion as you might feel the emotion that is evoked by what you are saying. Step 2, please forgive me. Ask for forgiveness. You don't need to think of whom you're asking it of. Just say, please forgive me. As you speak these words, feel the remorse you connected with in step 1. As you ask to be forgiven, those of you sensitive to energy may feel a sense of release of energy taking place. I'm actually doing this right now and I can feel the heat in my body. Please forgive me. Say thank you. Again, it doesn't matter if you have a sense of whom or what you're thanking. Before you even say the words, you may already feel the gratitude that begins to pour through you. This will increase as you say the words. Thank you. Step 4, I love you. Again, this will evoke a response in the soul, this time an outpouring of love. You may feel this consciously, but even if you don't trust that it is happening, just go with the process and say, I love you. Let yourself feel love as you say the words. Place your hands in prayer and relax for a moment. You have completed your healing process. Thank you for letting me do that with you today. I'm hopeful that you find these messages beneficial and that they were as powerful for you as they were for me. So feel free to leave a comment, subscribe if you're feeling so called for future videos. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you are all well and blessed. Take care. Welcome, beautiful souls, to the Axis Mundi reading at the end of our 4 Directions Shamanic Wheel reading. You would have selected this beautiful quartz crystal. I wish you could see inside. It's so lovely with all its beautiful rainbows. It reminds me of like a carousel, but it's just gorgeous, just beautiful. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll go ahead and get started. So the intention of the Axis Mundi reading was how we could incorporate and pull all of these messages together for the benefit of all. And there's a lot of information here. So we actually got 4 cards. They are letting go. Right now I'm feeling like that may be letting go of the old way. Our world changed overnight, and it's not going to go back to the way that it was. Letting go of control, letting go of what's important, what we thought was important before that really doesn't matter now. Emotional release. This is absolutely a time for that. Those of you that aren't processing or sharing your feelings, now's the time. I mean, we're suffering through collective trauma, right? Our whole world, our whole planet is affected by this. I mean, save for a few souls, a few locations. I try not to watch the news every day because it's far too much for me to handle, being such a sensitive and emotional person. I just try to be mindful and continue to tap into what messages I receive, and occasionally look out there, kind of keep an eye on what's going on and where I'm at in my own process. So it can be super challenging to have to look at that and not process it. I freely express my emotion. I'll cry if I'm feeling it. I'll let it go. I'll let it out. But a lot of people don't do that. So, so this is a time for that emotional release, whether it's anger or fear or tears or sadness. Feel your feelings. Let them go in a healthy way, and then find yourself again in the middle of that. So then we have joy. I think when letting go of things that we thought were more important than they actually are, we have more space for joy, less responsibility, less expectation, less judgment opens us up to far more joy. And then creativity. We're all finding creative ways to try to connect with one another and to share our message, to share our support and love for one another. And that is a beautiful thing. While I've seen entrepreneurs who are, just trying their best to build their businesses, there's such a deep love and compassion for humanity, for people. We just want people to feel loved, supported, and safe, and be in a space where they can express themselves and get some of that emotion, whether it's the good stuff or the bad stuff. We need to get that moving. We can do that through being creative, through creativity. So that's a lot going on right now. And then we have the giveaway, of course. Of course we have the giveaway. The giveaway is the gift. So when we give of ourselves, we are sacrificing, right? We're sacrificing very little. We're just sharing a piece of ourselves with the world. And when the world receives it, it's done so in a way that proves that we have had purpose. So I really learned about this experience when I actually created a drum. I took a class, Shamanic Pathways class, and in this class, I was gifted the opportunity to really see the different elements of not just having my own drum so that I could do shamanic journeying. It was learning what that process was like. It was really tapping into and connecting with the sacrifices, the giveaway that was made. So the tree that gave its life so that I could have the frame for my beautiful drum, and the elk that lost its life. And perhaps it wasn't even in a kind way or a natural way. That hide was treated with love and care and reverence in its passing, and it was able to be transformed into something new. So I fully accepted the gift that was given to me in that giveaway. And its purpose will continue to sing as long as I'm able to play that drum with love and reverence in my heart. That's just one example. The gifts that we share with others, our heart, our time, our words, our love, these are all giveaway. But when you offer a giveaway, there's a greater purpose for it. It's ready to live a new life in a new way. So if you feel called to share a message or a 30-minute meditation, or if you just want to share something with the world, if you feel called, do it. The world needs it right now. It is going to be fulfilling its purpose. That's why we're here, to support and love one another for the greater good. So thank you for the giveaway. How appropriate. We have lion. Be generous of spirit. So, wow, I'm really emotional today, guys. So lion, he's considered a leader, right? And so how I associate with this card is the depth and intensity, right? So lion is the leader of his tribe, of his pride. He's a hunter, he's a protector, he's the leader. And while he's a leader, most leaders, I don't think, receive the level of support that they give to others. So if you know someone in a leadership position and they hold their head high and they're strong and they are offering that love and support to others, just know that they are being generous of their spirit. And while it gives them a gift to be able to offer that, they also may be in need of receiving it in return. So be generous of spirit. B. So B tells me that we have a lot of stuff going on lots of different levels that we may not even be aware of. I feel that while some of us may be working really hard, others of us are kind of receiving information on different levels. So while you may continue your learning process, you may be continuing to work, you may also be receiving information on a different vibratory level. So maybe you're participating in regular meditation now, and maybe you're getting intuitive messages about for the collective or for your family. So there potentially, you may feel a greater connection, right? So you may feel the ability to, you may feel that your intuition is really heightening at this time. With the B, those of us that are able to continue to work and try to support others at this time, we know that we're going to get tired at some point, but we know we're doing it for the greater good. So just know, as hard as you're working now, know that there is going to be time for you to be able to rest later. Also, that's not an invitation to put yourself to work through exhaustion. It's an invitation to just be mindful and aware of ways that you are supporting yourself right now. So continuing to show up for yourself is super important right now too. Just make sure that you are meeting your own needs and kind of exploring different ways in which you can feel secure and safe and supported at this time, because these are really uncertain times. So if you feel like you need to reach out, reach out. And then we have 4 more beautiful cards here. And while we all have different elements about us, we've all stepped through each space of the wheel at one point or another. Right now, our Mother Earth, needs to heal right along with us. This is a dangerous time for us, but it's giving her a chance to breathe. Our skies are clearer, our waters are clearer, there's less traffic, there's less pollution of man, which gives her an opportunity for growth. And this is the time that she absolutely needs to grow. Then we have justice. You may find that there is a division. There's always going to be a division on some level or another, but right now I feel that the division we're experiencing may be on a political level, and it may also be on the level of people who are still of the mind that this does not affect me, that I am outside of this. Those that really don't care about the outcome, that really aren't affected. They could care less one way or the other. So you may see a bit of a division. But when I see justice here, it does tell me that eventually, while there may be division, there will eventually be a balance. We will find a way to balance this out. These are difficult times, and we may feel that division within us. I do think that we will come to a place of compromise. But things that are so offset on the negative end will eventually be able to be righted. Will eventually be able to be righted. So while it may be challenging for all of us right now, there will eventually be some balance. Then we have the Magician. To me, this feels like a call to all of those who believe that they have something positive to contribute to this world. I don't know about you, but to me, that's everyone. We all have a gift that we can share with this world. A very wise woman once said, "There are no extras. There's only one of you." And I value that statement so much. There are no extras. There's only one you. There's only one you to deliver the world the gifts that you have. And you do. You have all of these tools at your disposal. How would you like to show up? How would you like to share them? I invite you to do that, to show up and share your gifts with the world in the only way that you can. Because this world is a better place with you in it. So maybe you might have to get creative in how you show up. I mean, perhaps your gift to the world is, I don't know, maybe it's football, right? You can't play football by yourself. So once we're able to get through the process of healing, sure, go out there, share your light with others. But maybe it's to coach and inspire and to teach that knowledge, teach that experience that you have, right? Or maybe you're super crafty and creative. Maybe you're super organized, right? So maybe you could speak on how you get organized. What works for you? How do you show up in this world and share your gifts with us? So this is an invitation. This is a call to all of us who have something to contribute, some way to share and support one another at this time. This is a call to use our gifts that we were given. It's like a bat signal for spiritual entrepreneurs or light workers or people who are creatives or people who aren't creatives, people who just have a really incredible gift to share. Here's your bat signal. You wanted a sign? You got it. It's a Magician. Hey, bring your goodies. Let's hang out and save the world. So, and then we have the Six of Pentacles. Is that the six? Yes. That's the Six of Pentacles. which speaks to me of growth, of renewal. And we did talk earlier about how there's a division right now, but there has to be a new way. There has to be a new way when we step out into the world. So continuing to work on ourselves, to grow, to heal, to support one another and share that love for one another, that's how we can create this opportunity, this growth, this abundance, this connectivity, this passion, this love for one another. This is how we do it. And then I have one final card for the collective, for those that stayed around to watch the Axis Mundi. These, as you know, if you've watched the other directions, these messages were really designed for self-reflection and deep introspective work. So this is an invitation to all of us to pay attention to this message here. And this is Hozo? I think I might be pronouncing that wrong. But it is the beauty way of the Navajo. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm going to go ahead and read the full definition of this card and the invitation to participate in the action at the end, the work after. So more homework for those of you who watched your video already. This is so beautiful. It's almost like it's a message from our Earth Mother. So, you are my sacred Earth child, and I am your divine Earth Mother. With unconditional love, I provide all that you want and need so that you may fulfill your sacred destiny. We will always belong to each other. With abundance and generosity, I support you, revealing the divine beauty meant for you, so that joy and awe shall fill your soul. Relax now. It is time for you to be healed. So for those of us who are feeling like right now is a chance for Mother Earth to be healed, it's also a time for us to heal. Because, I mean, essentially our growth and her growth are reflected in one another. Her sickness, our sickness, that's reflected in one another. And here we are in a space of needing to be healed, needing renewal, all of us. There is a beautiful solution available. Do not place your faith in worry or stress. Allow life to unfold. As you relax and give yourself permission to rest within the vastness and beauty of nature, you will become receptive to the best way to handle things. Don't try to figure it out by force. Let go and trust that what is needed is coming to you at the perfect time and in the perfect way. Your peaceful mind shall perceive readily and accurately all that you need to know. The spiritual guidance of this card. The Beauty Way reminds you that beneath the noise, beneath your worries and concerns, there is oneness between you and life. Even if your world may feel chaotic at times, even if you fear that you have gone off track, the path that will return you to peace, beauty, balance, and harmony is always here for you. You do not have to become stressed or exhausted to fix what isn't working. Solutions can come to you more easily than you allow yourself to drop out of the pain and into the pleasure of the beauty way. Sometimes problems will disappear altogether in this place, and you shall realize that they were nothing more than the dark creation of an overworked, fatigued mind. Sometimes you will discover a different way to look at things, a helpful vision gifted by Great Spirit, and gain the energy to become productive, applying a simple and inspired idea that changes everything. The Beauty Way isn't about ignoring the reality of the world or becoming superficial. The Beauty Way is a deep spiritual feeling of trust, openness, and appreciation of the divine presence shining in all aspects of life. This appreciation restores the soul with the sublime recognition of a greater, loving intelligence that is always present, always inviting, always responding. When some form of ugliness is disturbing your soul, threatening to steal your peaceful trust in the divine, you are guided to come back to the Beauty Way. back into worshipful reverence of the sacred. From that place, you then become empowered to deal with the situation in a way that increases love and joy in yourself and in the world. Rather than being overtaken by the ugliness, you are able to offer beauty instead. Can you relax for a moment now? This is your first step into the beauty way. Allow the simple beauty of nature, of human kindness, of divine love to seep deep into your soul, infusing it like a sacred tea. Divine beauty moves through and fills you, bringing you a lightly euphoric feeling. You can be uplifted, renewed, at peace. The divine feminine knows how to create beautiful harmony. She includes you, your life journey, all human beings, and the world as a whole within her wisdom and grace. When you relax into her beauty, she will show you many possibilities. She will help you attract what you need and want most. In this way, you can become a channel through which her creative healing energy can flow abundantly into your life and into others in this world. Whoa. I'm just astounded. I mean, these cards have really just been so powerful and impactful. And the messages are just intense. So I'm going to read the healing process for you. Holding the card lightly at your heart and the guidebook comfortably in your other hand, say the following aloud. Today I walk the beauty way. All darkness and evil departs. I now become beauty and peace. With the cool breeze of divine grace renewing me from within, my thoughts and my words are beautiful. Nothing shall hinder my reverence and ease. All day I walk the beauty way. Turn to the east or to your right and say aloud, the children of the earth are beautiful and blessed with wisdom. Care is given for all beings of the earth that are vulnerable and in need of divine protection. They play in divine beauty. Turn to the south and say aloud, the young people of the earth are beautiful and blessed with wisdom. The flow of life energy is aligned with divine will to benefit all for the greatest good. They dance in divine beauty. Turn to the west, say aloud, the parents of the earth are beautiful and blessed with wisdom. Spiritual strength and true guardianship of all earth's beings prevail. They love in divine beauty. Turn to the north. Say aloud, the grandparents of the earth are beautiful and blessed with wisdom. Guidance is given and heeded to create harmony, peace, and beauty between all peoples and the earth. They rest in divine beauty. Standing in the center, say the following aloud. I walk with beauty before me. I walk with beauty behind me. I walk with beauty below me. I walk with beauty above me. I walk with beauty all around me and within every part of my soul. Take a moment to feel connection to your heart. Believe in the power of your words. Feel what it's like to trust in the healing divine beauty that flows in you and throughout all of life. You have completed your healing process. To all of you who have taken the time to watch this extra session at the end, the Axis Mundi, how we can connect, how we can stay connected, I thank you. I'm so grateful for the time that you've devoted to hear the messages today. I hope they have deep meaning for you and you receive a lot of benefit. So it's with deep love and gratitude. I thank you so much for being here today. I hope you're all well and blessed. Take care.